everybody, and welcome to the Bob Stoops app. I'm Brad McMullen, along with Hall of Fame football coach Bob Stoops, who joins us over the phone this week because every once in a while you need a little bit of a vacation. Coach, where are you right now?
Well, I happen to be in the mountains up in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, so I just got away on OU's off week. Not that I'm still coaching, but I don't like missing any games. But anyway, it was a good week and a half to get away and enjoying it. Been beautiful weather up here. Kind of the lows are 20, 25, and the highs are like 65 to 70, so it's been perfect.
Oh, I tried to stow away in your suitcase, but it just didn't work. I tell you, it sounds like a beautiful
You're too
place
tall.
to be.
You're too tall.
Yes, sir. All right, so let's talk about the last few weeks. First, the Texas game. None of us ever thought in our wildest dreams we would see OU play as poorly all around as they did that day. What do you think happened in Dallas, Texas?
It's hard to say for sure, not being there, not being part of it on the sidelines. Like anyone, I just be speculating to say what one thing. I think a major factor is always your starting quarterback. That is a big reason. And again, I think you saw the difference in play, a week ago. And, and I think it also goes back to part of the TCU game. We've played, 6 or 7 quarters now without our starting quarterback. And that, I don't care who you are, that matters and makes a difference. But, there's more to it than that. Defensively, stopping the run has got to be an issue, and key third downs. We haven't been good enough getting off the field on third downs. And then offensively, those couple of games, same kind of thing. We weren't good enough executing third downs to pick them up. And our run game wasn't what it needed to be. In a couple of games we lost there, Texas and TCU. So, the last game here against Kansas, a lot of that was shored up. And your team looks a lot better, when you can execute in those situations, run game and third downs.
And talking about Dylan Gabriel and what a difference he made for Oklahoma, he really looked lights out throwing the ball. He did have some turnovers, obviously, in the run game, but throwing the football, he was as accurate as I've seen him all year.
Yeah, he really was accurate, and Dylan's capable of that. He's, I know everyone comments on the couple here and there that he's missed, but overall he's been very accurate, working the ball really well, throws to all the receivers, and and I think sometimes people need to just give a quarterback a break here and there in that you got these 6'6" guys on defense and offense, 5 of them trying to protect them, 4 or 5 of them chasing them around back there. It's not always easy to see the guy that's, open or to get the ball perfectly there with all of that going on back there.
Yeah, and Oklahoma got a much-needed win against a ranked Kansas team. And this game was close at the beginning, but it really got away from Kansas as OU was really able to control the line of scrimmage in a big way this week.
Yeah, that's key. I kind of alluded to it earlier in the games we struggled. When you can run the football, you're gonna have the upper hand usually, and we really ran the football well, against KU and really sort of controlled their run game. And when you can do that, it makes a big difference in games. And as well as we protected the quarterback well, and we were able to get to theirs a little bit. So the line of scrimmage was a big deal, and it always will be.
All right, a much-needed off week before Oklahoma travels to Ames, Iowa to take on Iowa State. Let's talk about the big games that are going on, though, this week. Arguably a monster one in Stillwater for homecoming as the Texas Longhorns will be coming to town. Oklahoma State, believe it or not, is a home underdog by a touchdown. Thoughts on this one, Coach?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think I like Oklahoma State. I know Texas has been good, and they're better, and I know what they, did to us. Oklahoma State's been really consistent overall. They lost a heartbreaker, I know, last week to TCU, but TCU's been impressive. So, especially being that it's in Stillwater, I think Oklahoma State will have a good game.
Yeah, and I know that there's a lot of comments about Spencer Sanders and whether he'll be playing or if he's going to be at 100%. Oklahoma State is not throwing somebody just in there. Gundy has taken a lot of first-team reps, and I know that Mike Gundy is going to know a good game plan when he sees one.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm not wishing that Spencer doesn't play, but I sure would, like to see Mike's son in there playing, and looking forward to it. And I'm sure he'll be ready. Fact that they're at home, I think, helps. And, so it'll be interesting, though. It'll be interesting, if, when quarterback changes, that always makes a difference. And that overall, that may help Texas to a degree.
All right, another big game out there. Chip Kelly, your buddy there at UCLA, lighting them up. Undefeated, will be on the road at number 10 Oregon. And other than the first game of the year when Oregon got absolutely manhandled by Georgia, they've looked pretty impressive.
They really have. You have to give it to them. They've, when you saw that early on with Georgia, you're thinking, oh, they're going to struggle here with the coaching change and all, but that's not the case. They've been really impressive, and but you got to give it to Chip Kelly and UCLA also. Man, they've really played well and played strong. So that's going to be a great game to watch. Who's favored in that one?
Oregon is favored by 7 points. So I like the points in UCLA on this one.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be a really close game, and like you said, both teams are really playing well, and that seems like a lot of points.
Yeah, another undefeated team will be on the road in the Ole Miss Rebels. They will be traveling to LSU, and the Tigers are favored by 2 in this game.
And I think they're still going to have instant replay, if I'm not forgetting.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
For those of you who don't know, Brian Kelly made the comment last night that he thinks that we need to get rid of instant replay, that it's slowing down the game, and, quote, it is destroying the game, according to Brian Kelly. Your thoughts on instant replay? Do you think college football should get rid of it?
Well, I think that ship has sailed. Once it's here, it's staying. So I think he's wasting his time talking about it. In the end, I think it's a positive. I just, in the end, it's a positive thing. You ought to be able to get the call right. And I think more times than not, they do get it right. So I would have to disagree with them a little bit on that. But I like Ole Miss. I don't know, for whatever reason, LSU seems to be struggling or been very inconsistent. So, Ole Miss seems to be playing well.
Yeah, Ole Miss is running the football and playing really well at the line of scrimmage. They're undefeated for a reason. I love Ole Miss in this game. All right, Syracuse at Clemson. Clemson favored by 14 points. It's a battle of 2 undefeated teams in the ACC in late October. Who would have thought?
Yeah, you would think Clemson for sure.
Yeah, Clemson, they usually are. But Syracuse being undefeated.
Yeah, good for them. Dino Babers and their crew are doing a great job there at Syracuse. And I haven't seen a lot of them. I've seen a little bit of Clemson. I'm not sure who all Syracuse has played. That would be interesting for the bettors out there to look at, but I doubt they've played anybody that's, ranked in the top 10, 15. I'm just guessing. So, that sometimes your record can be a little bit, skewed, but not that it is. I haven't seen them enough to say that. But Clemson, I think, is starting to play well overall. I think their quarterback continues to get more and more comfortable. I didn't think he was last year very much. I believe he really is starting to play more consistently this year. And where's the game at?
The game is at Clemson.
Yeah, then I'm going to take Clemson here and feel like they'll continue to play well.
Yeah, for me, Clemson the last 4 weeks has gotten better and better and better. And while they didn't look like a top 5 team the first 3 weeks of the season, they've looked like a top 5 team the last month of the season, no doubt. All right, other game to talk about. Alabama last week lost to Tennessee on a last-second field goal. Alabama is at home this week against ranked Mississippi State, but they're favored by a whole lot of points in this one. 21-point favorite Alabama over Mississippi State is the line.
I'm just guessing their record after a loss is pretty strong. I bet they haven't lost it after losing a game, and being at home, they'll be ready to go. I like Alabama here. I hate to pick against Coach Leach and that crew. but I think they're going to have a hard time overall. And Alabama just sometimes has a way of getting after quarterbacks when they're more pass heavy.
Yeah, Coach, you remember this. Whenever you would lose a game, how it seemed like the rest of the world thought that the sky was falling. Everything I've read about Alabama is just like, oh, he's terrible, and Nick Saban has lost his touch, and this team isn't any good. And I'm like, they're 6-1. Like, they're not a bad football team. They're a very good football team, and they lost on a last-second field goal to a top 5 team in the country on the road.
Exactly. I agreed. Might be a little bit different if they were playing at Mississippi State, but at home after a loss, and Mississippi State will be a little more pass prone than they are run. They always have been, always will be, and I think that feeds into Alabama's favor a little bit.
Yeah, I think Alabama's going to win the game. There's no doubt that Nick Saban's got their attention this week. I say the 21 points, if you're a Mississippi State fan, I think you're going to keep it within 3 touchdowns, but I don't think you're going to get the W on Saturday. Sorry, Bulldog fans. All right, Kansas State at TCU, 2 ranked Big 12 teams, number 17, Kansas State on the road at TCU. TCU, though, only favored by 3.5 points. Should be a good one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Kansas State. Here's just the TCU's had some big wins already. They've been, as Coach Saban would say, they've been fed a bunch of rat poison. And at some point, a team like a Kansas State has the recipe, the way they can run the football. Martinez can make plays with his legs. I think it sets up well for them. And these are the kind of games Kansas State through the years has stepped up and won.
Yeah, and Kansas State's only loss on the season, obviously, to number 25, Tulane. Kansas State, good football team. And if they can, I know this is basic, win the turnover battle, they've got a shot of pulling the big upset there at TCU.
Yeah, I could see it happening. I've seen them do it too many times through the years. And again, TCU, are they going to go through the entire year undefeated? I mean, just through, just the odds of that in college football are pretty rare. So, at some point, that one game comes and gets you.
All right, last game we're going to be talking about today, Kansas. The Kansas Jayhawks, which had been ranked in the top 25 the previous 3 weeks, now unranked after losing to Oklahoma, will be traveling to Baylor. Baylor favored by 10 points. Your thoughts, Coach?
Yeah, that's an interesting one, but Baylor having lost already, I'm not sure. You said it's at Baylor. I think I like Baylor in this. KU is, they're a good team and all, but being that it's at Baylor, I'm gonna take them. I think we took a little bit of steam away from KU and what they were doing. And Baylor, I think, has been too consistent.
I agree with you. All right, last question for you has nothing to do with college football. It has to do with all the excitement around the XFL, Coach. What can you tell me about what's going on behind the scenes for the XFL?
Yeah, just our entire staff, really everybody has been just evaluating players in the player pool. Different players are opting into the player pool to be drafted. And that's going to continue, and I imagine even after our initial draft, we may have a supplemental draft later. So right now we're scheduled to do our draft in mid-November, around the 16th, I believe it is, in Las Vegas. And then we'll start practice not until January. Now, again, not sure yet if we'll have any supplemental drafts before January, but I'm sure that's always a possibility. But practice starts in January, and the first game will be the weekend after the Super Bowl.
All right, going to be a lot of fun watching you on the sidelines again there in the XFL. Well, Coach, thank you so much. And remember, guys, for videos anytime, just tap on the video link. For Hall of Fame football coach Bob Stoops, I'm Brad McMullen.